Welcome back, everyone. This is Thomas Triple T Tie with another new bullish crypto analysis. Before we dig in and take a look at the weekly Bitcoin charts and analysis, remember this is for edutainment only and not to be considered as financial advice. Additionally, when you find value at any time during this video, feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe if you haven't, and share your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. I would appreciate it. Let's dig in and take a look at one news item before we dive into the chart. Get my mouse pointer on first. All right, here we go. Self-proclaimed Satoshi Craig Wright plans to dump his BTC worth $50 billion. And he said Bitcoin has no utility. Think about that for a second. This guy's been claiming that he's Satoshi and he should deserve all the Bitcoins locked up in the quote unquote Satoshi's address. If he's Satoshi, why would he want to hurt Bitcoin? Think about it. The inventor of Bitcoin wants to hurt Bitcoin. Yeah, that guy's a fake. All right. Let's dive into the chart and take a look. Bitcoin is right here. Tiny little candle. I waited until after 5 p.m. so it would print a new candle so I can check it out. And it's past 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right now. So after the very bullish move up here from Bitcoin, Bitcoin printed two bearish, tiny little candles, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But the thing I wanted to share, I tweeted a little bit of suspense on Twitter, is this right here: Bitcoin spot right here, spot to derivative basis delta, and that's just the difference between the basis from spot, which is the regular market that you know, and the perpetual futures market. It's been negative for since November 22nd. You see this bottom white stuff, and if you know, I did a whole video on this, but anyways, short version of it is like it's been negative here, and if you trace this back up, Bitcoin was dropping. And it finally flips to the positive side, just a tiny little bit, for 2 weeks, and then it was flashing. This was flashing like red and white, red and white, red and white, and I had to wait for this candle print so I can see what this final result would be. And guess what? It flipped back negative. And if we scroll back here, see if we can find since the beginning of this chart, is there a time when it was negative for a long time and flipped positive slightly for 2 weeks and flipped back? Nah, not here, not here, not here, but here, but here, look how short this period was that it was negative, and then it flipped positive. So we got positive there 1-2 weeks, and then it flipped back down. And I was waiting to see if it would emulate this move, but notice how this was really a short period here. That's 1, 2, 3 weeks. Look how long we were here for. We were here since November 22nd. That's ridiculous. That's the longest period on this chart. So anyways, it flipped negative, which makes it very bearish. If it continues to trend back down this way, we might have a long period of like this, like downtrends and crapping sideways in the towards the near the lows here. So I wanted to show you that. I waited for a while. So something to keep in mind that it could flip back up again and be slightly positive. But if it falls back into this pattern, we're gonna have along 2022. So anyways, we got a second descending, these two candles are so tiny, and look at the volume. The current volume is like you can't even see it. Like you can't see it. And the last few candles here, the volume's been below the moving average. And so basically, even though it's descending, it's consolidating sideways. And let me zoom in here for you so we can see it a little bit better. Hopefully that's better. There you go. You can see that right now. And it's just above the middle Bollinger Band, which is at 43.9. Bitcoin's currently at 46.1.2, just fluctuating around there. And just above the middle Bollinger Band at 43.9. And still slightly above the bull market support band. When I stretch it out like this, it looks like it's descending pretty harsh, but it's not. So it's still above the bull market support band. That is positive. At the same time, I'm going to shrink this down because it just seems really odd. And so right here, it's just riding this support line at 46K. And it failed to break above the ascending triangle resistance, which is around 48K, 48.2 here. And if it breaks below this ascending triangle support or crabbing sideways, it hints at a slight bearishness. And if it breaks below this support at 46K, that's and it wicked down to 45. A 45K zone. So there's a potential to keep wicking down but chopping sideways. But could be bearish if it breaks some of these support here. The 50-day moving average is pinkish line here. It's still, Bitcoin is still above it, but it's dropping closer and closer. And that 50-day moving average is at 45.7K. And it did cross that 50-day moving average, and then it bounced back up. So if it goes below, that's more bearishness. So let's drop down and take a look at the Kdj indicator, and you can see the white J line here rounded the top, got flat, and registered at 104.8. The high in this range back here is 119, so it didn't reach the high, and then rounded off, and currently going sideways. More than likely, it could start trending down either this week or the following week. I gave that a crab here for this week. Down below, we met the MACD. Put in a second bullish, small, short, tiny histogram bar here. And the white line crossed above the red line last week, and it's still trending up, just a slight ascend. And with this kind of small slope or slight slope upward, it could easily wrap back down. So currently it's bullish, but I would give that a bull and a crab really. But it's more bullish than crabbing. So, but after 17 bearish histogram bars, it's nice to see that it's got some bullishness here, but very tiny, very weak. Down below, we have RSI after trending up, flip slightly horizontal, slightly down, and it's crabbing sideways at around 51.92. I gave that a crab. The aqua cumulative volume delta is also flipped horizontal after trending up, and it's registering at 4.047 million. I gave that a crab also. The white momentum indicator did the same thing. It was rising for multiple weeks and then flipped slightly down but more horizontal, and it's registering at 8,137. It's been rising since like February the 28th. So, and we already discussed the spot to derivative basis delta flipping negative again slightly. So overall, I give this chart 2 crabs. More than likely, it's gonna continue chop, chop, chop sideways, but a slight bearishness. So something to take a look at. Why is this bar here? See if we can get rid of. Oh, there we go. Okay. What else on this chart? Well, if you want to start layering in your entries, a lot of people are like wondering when should you start layering in. I would encourage you to think about, instead of waiting for the bottoms here again, leave some money down here, dry powder. Again, this is edutainment, not financial advice. Leave some dry powder down here, but start layering when it starts dropping back into the mid 40, into the low 40s, like, around, layer in like 10% at like around 45 something, and then layer in some more as it drops into the low 40s, and it drops into mid 30s, upper 30s, like around 38 at these lines here. I have more lines down below, but they're not showing because otherwise it would make this chart very crowded. But start laying in when it starts dropping, dropping into the mid 40s, low 40s, upper 30s, like 38 or so. And then as it drops some more, just layer in some more. Don't wait for the bottom. I know unless you have had those layers, unless you had those zones covered already. If you haven't, just start layering when it drops, because we don't know what's going to happen. I think 2022 is going to pretty much chop in this zone right here. Maybe get up to close to 50 or 49, but it's going to remain right around here for 2022. There's just too many macro factors in play. My summary for this chart is BTC is likely to chop between 45 and 46K zone again, sustaining a drop below 50-day moving average, which is the pinkish line here, would make it very bearish, while breaking the ascending triangle's resistance up here at roughly around 48 or so would make it very bullish. But let's take a look at some of the max pain charts here. Max pain for April the 4th would be 47K. It's not quite there yet, but this date here and the next few dates is very weak, very low open interest. So doesn't have a lot of weight on it, but it is what it is. 47K. For the 5th is 46K. For the 8th is 46K. This is more reasonable. The 15th is 46K. So it looks like Bitcoin might chop around 46K for a bit. But remember, it can drop down to the 45, etc. too. Or go up slightly, 46.5, 46.7K. Let's look at the heat map. Heat map, we got some sell levels up here. With sell walls around 50, 48K. We got, notice this bluish band here. That just shows you a lot of organic retail buy orders here. But not major walls here. Major walls start around 30. Well, that's not even major, but it's somewhat major. Mid-tier major. This is a 35K. We got 32K, 30K, 25. That's the one at 20. These have been here for a while, so not much has changed there. But people are still hanging on to the low 30s here. They're expecting some drop. Think about it though. If a Bitcoin quick flash crash, they would be ready. But are you? That's the question. Preparation. Let's go to the high block capitals, liquidation levels we see here, and that we have short excess of shorts overage here, for the cumulative liquidation levels delta. So these are all the longs here. These are the shorts. So currently the open interest in the short levels minus the open interest in the long levels is equal to roughly $1.2 billion excess shorts. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, if you see here, notice how we got a big chunk of shorts here, right? Shorts that betting price gonna drop. Well, Bitcoin rose, liquidated a bunch of them, and then it kind of choppy sideways, and then as it dropped in price, the shorts build up, and then it went the opposite direction, liquidated some of them, and then here, as it rose up, it liquidated a bunch, and it became slightly positive here, so more open interest for longs, and then it went back down here as Bitcoin dropped. So this is not a high level to be, even though this is 25x to 100x high leverage, but the amount is 1.2 billion. It's not that much. Like here would be a lot, like 4, 5, 6 billion would be an incentive for someone to take the counter position. So that's where we are. Let's go to I think that's it. Let me double check. Yeah, that's the last one. So I appreciate your time. This sorry for this late video, but I needed to wait for that candle to print and see what would happen with that with this guy here, spot to derivatives basis delta, which is right here. So I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, feel free to smash the like, ring my bell, hit subscribe if you haven't, and share your thoughts. Appreciate it, and good luck in the market. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.